All right, let's just jump right into it. In boardrooms all over the world, right now, the pressure is on. And I mean on. They have to make a big call about AI. This isn't just some buzzword on a PowerPoint slide anymore. It's a force that is actively reshaping companies. But what looks like the most obvious, logical path forward, well, it might just be hiding a very expensive trap. Get this. A massive 84% of employees are now being offered some kind of AI training. Just let that sink in. This isn't some far-off futuristic thing. No, it's happening right now, and it's touching almost every single person in the workforce. It's a huge signal that the skills we all need to succeed are changing under our feet. And the speed of this change? It's just mind-boggling. Over 60% of the job roles that were common just a few years ago, they didn't even exist a few decades back. Now, we've seen big shifts before, sure, but the velocity of this AI wave is something else. It's moving so fast that it threatens to just blow past our ability to think it through carefully. So what is lighting this fire? Why all the urgency? It comes down to one absolutely gigantic number, $15.7 trillion. That's the amount of value that AI is expected to inject into the global economy by 2030. You know, when a number that big is on the table, it is no wonder boards are feeling the heat to move fast and grab their slice of that pie. And right here, this is the core of the problem. For so many companies, the AI discussion isn't really about strategy or innovation. Nope. Because they're so focused on short-term shareholder returns, the whole thing gets framed as a cost-cutting mission. And what's the fastest, most direct way to slash costs? You guessed it, reducing headcount. I mean, look at the math from their perspective. It seems so clean, so simple. You save, say, $100,000 per person, you subtract the one-time cost of the AI, and boom, you get your money back in just 1 or 2 years. On a spreadsheet, this looks like a complete no-brainer. It's a financially bulletproof argument that makes replacing people seem like the only smart choice. But is it really that simple? Can a balance sheet really tell the whole story? Of course not. This simple, tidy math leaves out a whole universe of hidden costs. And these are the kind of costs that don't show up on a report until the damage is already done and it's far too late. And this brings us to the thing that spreadsheet leaves out: organizational health. You can think of it as the company's immune system. It's that invisible stuff, the trust, the culture, the ability to innovate, that really determines if a company will thrive in the long run. These are the things that actually predict future success, and they're exactly what that simple cost-cutting math just completely ignores. So here's what that unseen price tag looks like over time. In that first year, yeah, you'll probably see cost savings. The profit margins look good, the stock might even get a little bump. But then, look what happens. After a year or two, skill gaps start to pop up like weeds. Employee engagement tanks. Innovation just slows to a crawl. And if you go out 3 years or more, you're looking at a hollowed-out company with a broken culture. That fantastic short-term win has turned into a devastating long-term loss. So what's the first hidden cost? It's knowledge loss. And I'm not talking about stuff you can find in a manual. I'm talking about tribal knowledge, that informal expertise people build up over years, the stuff that lets them know how things really get done. An institutional memory, understanding the why behind past successes and failures. Some studies suggest that up to 42% of a company's most important knowledge lives only in the heads of its employees. When they walk out the door, that knowledge goes with them. Poof, it's gone. The next hidden cost you'll pay is the innovation deficit. Look, AI is an absolutely incredible tool for optimization. It can make a process you already have way faster and way more efficient. But what it can't do is replicate that spark of human creativity. It doesn't have intuition. It doesn't have aha moments. Real breakthroughs come from people, from diverse ways of thinking, from making connections that an algorithm, which is only trained on the past, could never dream of. And maybe the most destructive cost of all is how quickly trust erodes. It happens like a cascade of dominoes. First, there's the initial shock from the layoff announcement. Then, survivor syndrome kicks in for the people who are left. They're anxious, they're looking over their shoulder. That fear leads to risk aversion. Nobody wants to stick their neck out. Then suggestions for how to make things better just stop. And finally, loyalty disappears. your best people start quietly updating their resume. And believe me, this isn't just a vibe thing. You can actually measure the damage. After big AI-driven layoffs, engagement among the remaining staff can drop by over 60%. And that massive disengagement leads directly to a productivity loss of almost 30%. All of a sudden, those labor savings from the spreadsheet don't look quite so good now, do they? This whole trust erosion thing absolutely demolishes an invisible but priceless asset, psychological safety. When that's gone, people stop telling you about problems because they're afraid of being blamed, or worse, being next on the chopping block. They stop trying new things. They stop innovating. And that creates massive, dangerous blind spots right when you need to see clearly the most. And what all this really uncovers is a fundamental conflict that's right at the heart of business today. On one side, you have this very narrow focus on shareholders. They want quarterly returns, they want stock price bumps, they want immediate cost cuts. But on the other side, you have the interests of all the stakeholders, the employees who innovate, the customers who buy from you, the community that supports you. They're the ones who guarantee a company's long-term health and resilience. And here's another brutal hidden cost for you. After AI-driven layoffs, the number of people who choose to leave can spike by up to 35%. But here's the real gut punch. Your best people, your high-potential employees, are 2.5 times more likely to be the ones walking out the door. So you're not just losing employees, you're losing your future leaders. And the cost to replace them can completely wipe out any savings you thought you made. So when you start adding up all of these hidden costs, it becomes crystal clear that this isn't just some tech problem. It's a deep strategic choice about what kind of company you actually want to build. But here's the good news. There is another way. There is a better path. This other path isn't about short-term efficiency. It's about building for long-term resilience. It means you prioritize people and AI working together, not replacing one with the other. It means you actually invest in training and continuous learning. You keep humans in the loop for critical decisions, and you start to think of productivity not just as speed, but as the ability to learn and adapt. It's about building responsible, ethical rules for AI right from the start. The most powerful strategy is a hybrid model. It's built on one simple, powerful idea: augment, don't replace. You let AI do what it's great at, all the repetitive, routine stuff, and it does it with incredible speed. But that frees up your people to do what they're great at: thinking creatively, making complex ethical judgments, and building real relationships with customers. You really get the best of both worlds. In the end, this whole conversation goes way beyond just a technology strategy. This is about consciously and deliberately building a future-ready culture, one that's adaptable, that's innovative, and that puts people at its core. It's about creating a place that sees technology as a powerful tool to make human beings even better, not to make them obsolete. So that leaves every single leader out there with one fundamental question to answer. When you look at your AI strategy, what are you really building for? Are you building for the brittle efficiency you see on a spreadsheet, the kind that gives you a short-term win but puts you at huge risk down the road? Or are you building for the enduring resilience of a healthy organization, one that's ready to adapt and thrive no matter what the future throws at it? Which one will define your company's future?